Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. Recently, I was contacted by a woman who told me that she has been married for 5 years and wanted to know what my fees were to help her with a marriage-based green card petition that requires consular processing. I explained that I had to ask her a few questions about her and her husband, and she became very defensive, and she ultimately refused to provide me with any information about her husband. Today, I want to explain why our office does not usually provide ballpark figures on our services and why we prefer to provide an exact cost for our services. Now imagine that you are a babysitter or a nanny and you are applying for a nanny position. If a person calls you and asks you how much you would charge them, most likely you will want to learn more about them and ask them questions to determine how much work is required. For example, if you are considering a job as someone's nanny, you may want to ask them how many children they have, because the more children they have, most likely the more work you will have to do. Also, you may want to ask them, how old are the children? Imagine if you had to take care of 3 infants versus 3 teenage children. It will definitely take more of your time and energy if you are taking care of 3 infants who are unable to feed, potty, or even bathe themselves. Also, you may want to ask them how long you have to work each day or each week. If the parent expects you to work late into the evenings or during the weekends, most likely you will want to be fairly compensated for this additional time. Additionally, you may want to ask the parent if they expect you to drive the children to school, cook for them, clean the house, or help them with their schoolwork. Hopefully you can see where I'm coming or going with this. If you are applying for any job whatsoever, you are likely going to expect them to pay you for how much work you have to commit to the particular job. This is same and is true for our office. Now that we have gone over this example, let me explain why our office requires that a potential client answers all of our questions before we provide them with a quote. And this is why I refuse to provide ballpark figures without knowing the full scope of what services a person expects me to provide to them. At our office, we generally ask questions related to 4 areas, namely a client's family history, a client's immigration history, a client's criminal history, and a client's employment history. Now let me explain why we do this. First, we ask questions about a person's family history because it could impact their immigration case. For example, we generally ask potential clients, do you have any children? We ask this question because if a person is applying for an immigration benefit for themselves, such as naturalization or citizenship, or even for someone else, such as for a K-1 fiancé petition or spouse petition, the government will want to know if they were required to pay child support, if they owe any child support, and if they were a good parent overall. Let's think about this. If a US citizen or a green card holder had children, and they never took care of those children, why would the US government allow them to sponsor another human being to live in the United States or allow them to qualify for any type of immigration benefit? The second question that we typically ask related to family history is, have you or your spouse ever been married before? There are many reasons why we ask this question. Sometimes we have to make a determination of whether the person's divorce decrees are valid and enforceable. This may surprise many of you, but many divorce decrees are invalid for a variety of reasons. Additionally, if a US petitioner is applying for a K-1 visa, but they previously filed 2 or 3 before for different people, they may have a harder time applying for a new K-1 visa. Also, if a foreign national previously applied for a green card with an ex-spouse, he or she may be accused of marriage fraud when applying for a green card with their new spouse. As you can see, learning about a potential client's family history is vital in determining how much work is required for a particular case. Next, let's talk about a person's immigration history and why it's important to ask questions about this area. The first question we generally ask related to immigration history is, have you ever been in removal or deportation proceedings? Many people falsely believe that you have to be in front of a judge to be ordered removed or deported. This is definitely not true, since you could be deported by the Customs and Border Patrol, or CBP, at the border or even at the airport. This is generally referred to as an expedited removal. If a person has been previously deported, our office needs to ask questions in order to determine if the immigration history makes them ineligible to apply for future immigration benefits. The second question we generally ask related to immigration history is, have you previously filed any immigration case with USCIS? If a person has previously filed cases with immigration and they don't have a copy of the filing, it may make it more difficult to assist them, and we may have to instruct them to file special documents to request a copy from the federal government. As you can see, a foreign national's immigration history is very important. There are times that a foreign national's immigration history may make them permanently ineligible for any immigration benefit. Now let's talk about a person's criminal history. This is an area that we get lots of tension or makes people very upset when we ask them questions about it. According to the federal government, a petitioner, the U.S. citizen, or a green card holder may be ineligible to sponsor a foreign national if they have been charged or convicted of certain crimes. Additionally, foreign nationals may be ineligible to naturalize or even to apply for immigration benefits if they commit certain crimes. Finally, let's talk about a person's employment history. If you speak with an immigration attorney about your case and they don't ask you any questions about your employment history, don't agree to sign up. The employment history for a sponsor and the foreign national can make or break a case. Let me explain. If a U.S. citizen or green card holder wants to sponsor a foreign national, they will need to prove that the foreign national will not be a burden or reliant on the government for public benefits such as food stamps or welfare when they become a green card holder. If the U.S. citizen or green card holder is not working, not paying taxes, owes taxes, doesn't make enough money, they won't be able to sponsor the foreign national without first obtaining assistance from a joint sponsor. If a joint sponsor is required, additional forms will be needed, which will create more work for the attorney. Also, a person's employment history is also important as it relates to the foreign national. If the foreign national previously worked in the United States, depending on what type of work they did, it may make them permanently ineligible for immigration benefits. Many people hire an immigration attorney, pay the fees, and never get pre-qualified to determine if they are eligible for a particular immigration benefit. In these situations, the immigration attorney can agree to help a person file for a very low fee, and after the person pays the fees, the immigration attorney will tell them that they do not qualify based on one of the reasons we listed above. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll think twice about asking an immigration attorney to provide you with a ballpark fee right away. Hopefully you have learned that an immigration attorney will need to ask you a lot of questions before they can give you a quote for their services. The more work that is required, the higher the fee will be for most cases. Personally, I have been consistently ranked as one of the top 10 immigration attorneys in the state of Texas, and this is for a very good reason. At our office, we will not agree to file a case unless we believe that the case has merit and there is a good chance that the case will be approved. This means that after speaking with someone, we can usually explain the likelihood of success and point out any potential problems or conflicts that they may have when filing for their case. So again, thank you for watching Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David Nguyen.